Imagine spending 15 years building your career, working late nights, missing family events, sacrificing weekends. Finally, one morning, an email changes your life forever. Congratulations! We are pleased to offer you the position of Senior Mechanical Engineer in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. For many professionals, that's not just another job offer, it's a dream. A better salary, a better future, a better life for their family. But what if I told you that one missing document could destroy everything? Today's story is inspired by situations that international professionals commonly face during the Saudi work visa process. And if you're planning to work in Saudi Arabia, watch until the very end, because one mistake could cost you months or even your job opportunity. Before we begin, if you enjoy practical videos that simplify international document verification, Saudi work visas, and relocation processes, consider subscribing to our channel. Every week, we share real-world guidance that could save you time, money, and unnecessary stress. Now, let's begin. James Walker, 41 years old, a chartered mechanical engineer from Manchester, United Kingdom. 15 years of international experience, oil and gas, energy, industrial projects. He had worked incredibly hard to reach this point. Then one afternoon, everything changed. A multinational engineering company headquartered in Riyadh contacted him. After several interviews, he got the job. The salary? Nearly double what he earned in the UK. Housing allowance, annual flights, medical insurance, education benefits for his children. Everything looked perfect. His family celebrated, friends congratulated him. He resigned from his current employer, booked medical appointments, started preparing for the biggest move of his career. Like thousands of professionals, James thought, the difficult part is over. He couldn't have been more wrong. Within a few days, his Saudi employer sent a long checklist: degree certificate, transcript, passport, employment certificates, police clearance certificate, medical examination, professional registration, educational verification, document attestation, MOSADAQA QVP. And because he was an engineer, Saudi Council of Engineers registration. James looked at the list and laughed. That's easy. I already have all my documents. But here's something many professionals don't realize. Having documents and having documents that meet every verification requirement are two completely different things. Every stage depends on the previous one. If one document stops, everything behind it stops. And that's exactly what happened. James submitted his documents. Everything seemed to be moving smoothly. Then, silence. Days passed. Nothing. A week. Nothing. Another week. Still nothing. His application status hadn't moved. He emailed. No response. He called. Still waiting. His employer simply replied, "We're waiting for verification." Waiting for what? That's when he discovered something he had never heard of before: educational verification. His university had received a request to verify his engineering degree, but there was one problem. The verification hadn't been completed. Without educational verification, the process couldn't move forward. Without that, MOSADAQA couldn't progress. Without MOSADAQA, several later stages would also be delayed, and every passing day brought him closer to his joining date. He started asking himself the question every international professional fears: what if they give my position to someone else? Just when James thought the delay couldn't get any worse, another issue surfaced. His passport listed his full legal name, James Alexander Walker. But years earlier, his university degree had been issued as James A. Walker. A tiny difference, one middle name, one abbreviation. That's all. Yet, for verification purposes, it mattered. The records couldn't immediately be matched. Additional clarification was needed. Now the application wasn't delayed because of one issue. It was delayed because of two. The joining date was getting closer. His family had already started preparing for the move. Flights hadn't been booked yet. His resignation couldn't be reversed, and every morning, the first thing he did was refresh his email, hoping for good news. Instead, he saw the same status. 3 weeks had passed. James checked his email every morning before breakfast and every night before going to bed. Most days, nothing. Then one Tuesday afternoon, an email finally arrived. His heart started racing. This must be it. He opened it immediately. But instead of an approval, he saw another request. Additional verification required. His educational verification had not yet been completed, so the next stages of the process could not move forward. That's when James realized something many international professionals don't know. Getting a job offer is only the beginning. The document verification journey can be just as important as the interview itself. While reviewing his application, James came across another requirement he had never heard of before: MOSADAQA. He searched online, read forums, watched videos. Everyone seemed to explain it differently. Some people said it was simple. Others said it could take weeks. Some applicants reported smooth experiences. Others described unexpected delays. James had no idea which advice to trust. The more he searched, the more confused he became. If you've ever gone through an international document verification process, you probably know this feeling. Too much information, too many opinions, very few clear answers. By now, his employer had started asking for progress updates. The planned joining date was getting closer. His family had already begun preparing for the move. Every delay created new questions. Should they postpone their travel? Should they wait before giving notice on their home? Would the company still hold the position? Nobody could give James a definite answer. That uncertainty was becoming harder than the paperwork itself. At this stage, James decided to seek professional guidance. His documents were reviewed again, line by line. Every date, every name, every supporting document, every previous submission. During that review, something important stood out. His university records required additional clarification before the verification could be completed. The team explained exactly which supporting documents would strengthen the application and how to organize them clearly. They also helped him understand the sequence of the Saudi documentation process so that each stage could move forward with fewer surprises. Sometimes, the biggest delay isn't caused by one major mistake. It's caused by several small issues that only become visible when the entire application is reviewed together. Just when James thought everything was finally moving, another requirement appeared. QVP, the Qualification Verification Program. Again, new documentation, new verification steps, new timelines. Employment history, experience records, supporting evidence. For professionals who haven't been through the process before, it can feel overwhelming. James realized something important. Each requirement wasn't separate. They were connected. A delay in one stage could affect the next. Understanding the overall process, not just one document, made a significant difference. Because James was an engineer, there was another important requirement: registration with the Saudi Council of Engineers, often referred to as SCE. This stage required its own documentation and verification process. At first, James wondered why there were so many different requirements. But each organization serves a different role in the overall journey toward working in Saudi Arabia. By this point, he understood why planning ahead matters so much. With the documentation reviewed, supporting information organized, and follow-ups completed, the application finally began moving again. One verification was completed, then another. Progress that had been stalled for weeks started to return. Every update brought James one step closer to his goal. After weeks of uncertainty, he finally received the notification he had been waiting for. The required verification stages had been completed. His application could move on to the remaining visa formalities. For James, it wasn't just another email. It was relief, hope, and the chance to begin the career he had worked so hard to achieve. But the journey still wasn't over. Medical examinations, visa processing, embassy formalities, travel preparations, and one final surprise just days before departure. Could anything else still go wrong? In the final part, you'll see how the journey ended and the 5 lessons every professional should learn before accepting a job in Saudi Arabia. James thought, the hard part is finally over. But Saudi work visa processing isn't only about document verification. There were still 3 important stages remaining: the medical examination, the police clearance certificate, and visa processing. Fortunately, because the earlier documentation had been carefully prepared and verified, these remaining steps progressed much more smoothly than James had expected. Within a short period, his medical reports were completed, his police clearance certificate was submitted, and the visa application moved forward. After weeks of uncertainty, for the first time, everything finally seemed to be coming together. It was 8:15 in the morning. James's phone rang. He looked at the screen. It was his documentation coordinator. For a moment, he didn't answer. He was afraid it might be another problem, another missing document, another delay, another email. Instead, he heard words he'd been waiting nearly 2 months to hear. Congratulations! Your documentation process has been completed. Your visa has been issued. For a few seconds, James said nothing. He simply smiled. The stress, the uncertainty, the sleepless nights, they were finally over. A few weeks later, James landed at King Khalid International Airport in Riyadh. Standing inside the terminal, he remembered everything. The excitement, the frustration, the waiting, the endless emails, the uncertainty. And now, he was finally here, beginning a completely new chapter of his life. James later said something interesting. It wasn't getting the job that was difficult. It was understanding the documentation. And honestly, he's right. Many professionals spend years becoming experts in their careers. Very few understand international document verification because nobody teaches it until they suddenly need it. Looking back, there were 5 lessons every professional should know before accepting a Saudi job offer. Number 1, never assume your university records exactly match your passport. Even small differences may require clarification during verification. Number 2, don't wait until the last minute to begin your documentation. Some verification stages can take time, depending on the organizations involved. Number 3, understand the sequence: attestation, educational verification, MOSADAQA, QVP, professional registration where applicable, medical, visa processing. Each stage builds on the previous one. Number 4, keep every employment and educational document organized and ready. It can save valuable time if additional information is requested. And finally, if you become stuck, don't ignore the problem. The earlier you identify the cause, the easier it is to address. Every applicant's journey is different. Some applications move quickly. Others require additional documentation, clarification, or follow-up. That's why many professionals choose to work with experienced specialists who understand the overall process. At Legal Visa Services, our team assists applicants throughout their Saudi documentation journey, from document attestation to educational verification, MOSADAQA, QVP, Saudi Council of Engineers registration, and Saudi work visa processing. We help applicants prepare documentation, coordinate with the relevant organizations, and navigate each stage as smoothly as possible. Our goal is simple: to reduce unnecessary delays, help applicants understand what's required, and support them from the beginning of the process until they're ready for their new opportunity abroad. If you're planning to work in Saudi Arabia, or your documentation process has already begun, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, which country are you applying from? What's your profession? And what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? University verification? MOSADAQA? QVP? SCE? Document attestation? Or something completely different? Your experience might help someone else who's going through the same journey. If this documentary helped you understand the Saudi documentation process, please consider subscribing to the channel. Every week, we share practical guidance, real-world scenarios, and updates on Saudi work visas, UAE equivalency, document verification, attestation, and international mobility. If you know someone who's preparing to move to Saudi Arabia, share this video with them. It could save them weeks of unnecessary delays. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.